You have a goal, a burning ambition. You sit down to work, ready to pour your focus into building your future, creating your legacy. But there's a thief in the room, and it lives inside your own mind. It whispers to you when you're bored, tired, or trying to push through something difficult. It calls to you from the glowing screen in your pocket. You tell yourself, it's just a harmless glance, a quick scroll. But seconds bleed into minutes, and minutes stretch into hours you can never get back. When you finally pull away, your focus is shattered. Your energy is gone, and your ambition. It feels a little more distant, a little less real. This isn't just a lack of willpower. This isn't a moral failing, it's a trap. And while it may not have been built with malicious intent, it's a system that's perfectly engineered to keep you weak. Let's call this what it is, the lust trap. It's an environment, a system that takes one of your most primal drives and turns it against you. This isn't some abstract concept. It's a neurological reality, a prison built from pixels and algorithms, with its bars forged in the chemistry of your own brain. We're often told to frame this issue as a personal weakness, a flaw in our character. We're told to feel shame, to suppress it, to fight it. But that's a fundamental misunderstanding of the enemy. You're not fighting yourself. You're fighting a system that has become masterful at exploiting your biology. Modern technology has created a limitless, on-demand supply of what neuroscientists call supernormal stimuli. These are exaggerated versions of the signals our brains evolved to seek out for survival and reproduction. In the past, these signals were rare. You had to work for them. You had to hunt, build, achieve, and connect. Today, they're everywhere. They're free, effortless, and relentlessly optimized to be as potent as possible. This fire hose of stimulation delivers an endless stream of what we can only call cheap dopamine. It's a synthetic, hollow pleasure that requires nothing from you, no effort, no courage, no growth. And your brain, which evolved in a world of scarcity, doesn't know how to handle this overwhelming abundance. It can start to prefer the cheap, easy reward over the difficult, meaningful one. It starts to choose the fleeting pleasure of a two-dimensional fantasy over the hard-won satisfaction of building a real life. This is the foundation of the trap. It's not about the content itself, it's about the mechanism. It's the hijacking of your brain's core motivational system, turning a natural drive for connection and procreation into a powerful, isolating compulsion for some people. It promises satisfaction, but can leave you feeling empty. It promises connection, but can leave you more alone than ever. And all the while, it silently drains you of the one resource you can never get back: your time, your focus, and your ambition. This isn't just a bad habit. It's a silent killer of potential. It can rob you of your energy, your drive, and the future you were meant to build. To escape the trap, you first have to understand how it was built. You need to become an expert on the architecture of your own prison. The master key to this whole system is a single neurotransmitter, dopamine. Think of your dopamine system as a kind of compass. For millennia, this compass was finely tuned. It was your internal guidance system, motivating you to act. It would point you toward things that ensured your survival and success: nutritious food, strong social bonds, learning new skills, and yes, finding a mate. When you pursued and achieved these things, your brain would release dopamine, which felt good. That feeling of pleasure wasn't the end goal, it was a signal. It was your brain saying, that was important. Do that again. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation. It's less about feeling pleasure and more about the anticipation of a reward. It's the engine of seeking. This compass was meant to guide you toward genuine achievement. The effort you put into building a shelter or forming a real, meaningful bond with another person resulted in a healthy, earned dopamine release. It aligned your actions with your long-term well-being. But what happens when you introduce a force that floods the system with signals so powerful and so effortless that they spin the needle uncontrollably? That is precisely what the modern digital world can do. The constant stream of hypersexualized content offers a shortcut to reward, that's far easier than anything found in the real world. And your brain, following its ancient programming, can't help but turn its attention toward it. The compass begins to spin. The hijacking of your brain isn't just a metaphor. It's a biological process. For those who develop compulsive behaviors, it can happen in 3 phases. First, there's overstimulation and the dopamine flood. When you're exposed to explicit stimuli, a specific reward pathway in your brain is activated. This circuit is the core of reward processing. For some, viewing these images can trigger a powerful, unnaturally easy surge of dopamine. Your brain interprets this as an event of supreme importance, searing it into your memory. It learns to associate this specific trigger with an immense, immediate reward, creating a powerful reinforcement loop. Second comes the risk of tolerance and desensitization. Your brain is an adaptive machine that craves balance. When it's repeatedly flooded with these unnaturally high levels of dopamine, it can take defensive action by reducing the number of available dopamine receptors, a process called downregulation. Think of it like this. If someone screams into your ear all day, you eventually start to go deaf. Your brain does the same thing by turning down the volume on dopamine. This can have 2 catastrophic consequences. First, the same stimuli may no longer give you the same feeling. You might need more, or something more intense, more novel, just to feel normal. This is the definition of tolerance, and it's the engine of all addiction. You start chasing a high you can't quite catch, like trying to quench thirst by drinking salt water. But the second consequence is what's truly devastating for your ambition. This desensitization isn't always limited to the source of the compulsion. It can spill over into every other area of your life. The healthy, normal pleasures, the satisfaction of a finished workout, the joy of a good conversation, the pride of completing a difficult task might not register in the same way. Their dopamine signal can feel too weak to compete. For some, the world literally starts to lose its color. This is a condition known as anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure from normally enjoyable activities. Your motivation for everything else can wither because your brain's reward currency has been devalued. Third, and perhaps most critically, is the impairment of the prefrontal cortex. Imagine the prefrontal cortex, or PFC, as the CEO of your brain. It's responsible for long-term planning, impulse control, and decision-making. It's the part of you that understands consequences and prioritizes future goals over immediate urges. In a healthy brain, the CEO in the PFC maintains control. But in a brain struggling with compulsive behavior, this relationship can be inverted. The constant dopamine surges can functionally weaken the PFC's authority. The connections between the rational PFC and the primal reward system can be disrupted. It's like the CEO is getting drowned out by the noise from the factory floor. You know you shouldn't click. You know it will kill your motivation. But the compromised PFC can no longer provide the braking force to stop the impulse. Your ability to make sound decisions gets hijacked. This isn't a theory. Studies on various forms of internet addiction have shown links to reduced function and even structural changes in the prefrontal cortex. So what does this all mean for you, for your life, for your ambitions? It means your ambition can wither. Your brain's seeking system, which should be driving you to explore the world and achieve your goals, can become functionally chained to a single, narrow source of reward. The grand adventure of your life is traded for the predictable comfort of a pixelated fantasy. Goals that once excited you now feel like chores because they can't compete. It means your energy is drained. The compulsive cycle is unbelievably exhausting. The constant internal war of craving, indulging, the shame and guilt that follows, and the desperate resolutions to stop, only to fail again. This conflict consumes vast amounts of mental and emotional energy. This is energy you should be using to build your business, to get in the best shape of your life, or to be present with your loved ones. Instead, it's being burned away inside your own skull. This is the true nature of the lust trap. It's a silent killer of the man you are capable of becoming. It convinces you that you're satisfying a need while it's actually creating a deeper void. It's a neurological prison that can keep you distracted, weak and compliant, forever chasing a fleeting pleasure while your true potential withers and dies. If this science of dopamine and brain chemistry is resonating with you, if you're starting to see the bars of the trap for what they are, then make sure you subscribe. Because understanding the problem is only the first step. Next, we're going to break down exactly how to escape. So how do we beat it? How do we break free from a trap embedded in our own neurology? The answer isn't to fight it head on. You can't defeat this enemy with brute force or willpower alone. Trying to simply suppress this powerful urge is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you push it down, the more forcefully it will eventually erupt. Instead of fighting, we have to be strategic. We have to become architects of our own neurology. The path to freedom is not through suppression, but through a systematic process of replacement and rebuilding. It's a three-step process to reclaim your mind, your energy, and your ambition. The first and most critical step is to cut off the supply. To heal, you must first create an environment where your dopamine receptors can begin to heal and resensitize. This isn't about moral purity. This is about neurological repair. While the idea of a dopamine detox is a popular oversimplification, you can't actually detox from dopamine. The principle of reducing overstimulation to regain sensitivity is sound. This goes far beyond just installing a website blocker. You have to be ruthless in curating your digital and mental environments. First, your digital environment. Your phone is the primary delivery device for this compulsion. Turn it from a source of temptation into a tool for productivity. Go through your phone and social media and unfollow every single account that serves as a trigger. Be merciless. Your focus is more valuable than their content. Delete the apps that are the biggest time sinks. Turn off all non-essential notifications. That little red bubble is a carefully designed dopamine hook. A powerful technique is to switch your phone to grayscale. By stripping away the vibrant, stimulating colors, you make the screen significantly less appealing to your primal brain. Create no-phone zones and times. The first hour of your day and the last hour before you sleep should be sacred. Make your bedroom a phone-free sanctuary. Second, your mental environment. Starving the beast also means changing how you relate to your own thoughts. You will have urges. That's a given. The key is to learn that you don't have to act on them. This is the practice of mindfulness. When a craving arises, don't fight it or push it away. Don't engage with it, and don't shame yourself for having it. Simply observe it. Acknowledge its presence with a sense of detached curiosity. Imagine the urge as a wave. It builds, it peaks, and if you simply watch it without feeding it, it will eventually crash and recede on its own. This practice is called urge surfing. By doing this, you're creating a space between the trigger and your response. In that space lies your freedom. You are retraining your brain, teaching it that not every urge needs to be satisfied. You are taking the power back from the impulse and giving it back to the CEO, your prefrontal cortex. Once you begin to starve the addiction, you'll notice something profound, a surplus of energy. The energy that was once consumed by the cycle of craving and shame is now available to you. This is a powerful primal force. Napoleon Hill, in his classic book, Think and Grow Rich, called this sexual transmutation, the redirection of this potent creative energy toward more productive ends. This energy is not your enemy. It is your greatest asset. It's the life force that fuels ambition, creativity, and achievement. The key is not to extinguish this fire, but to redirect it. How do you do this? First, through a physical outlet. Engage in strenuous physical exercise. This is non-negotiable. Lifting heavy weights, sprinting, intense martial arts. These activities do several things at once. They provide a healthy, natural release of dopamine and endorphins. helping to recalibrate your reward system. They build physical strength and discipline, which translates directly into mental fortitude. And they exhaust your body productively, leaving less restless energy for bad habits. When you feel the pull of a craving, your first response should be to move. Drop and do 50 push-ups. Go for a hard run. Channel that raw, restless energy into physical power. Second, you need a creative and productive outlet. This energy must be channeled into a mission, a project, a skill. This is where you give your brain's seeking system a new, healthier, and far more compelling target. What have you always wanted to build? A business? A YouTube channel? What skill have you always wanted to learn? A new language? A musical instrument? This becomes your new obsession. Every time you feel the urge for a cheap dopamine hit, pivot. Open your laptop and write 500 words of your book. Pick up your guitar and practice for 20 minutes. You are taking that raw, creative energy and literally transmuting it into tangible value in the real world. This leads to the most crucial element, your purpose anchor. You can't just run away from a bad habit. You must be running towards something far more compelling. You need a purpose so big and inspiring that it makes the allure of cheap pleasure seem pathetic by comparison. What is your why? What is the dent you want to make in the universe? This mission becomes the new North Star for your dopamine compass. When your purpose is clear, decisions become simple. You no longer have to rely on willpower to avoid distractions, because you are pulled forward by the gravity of your own ambition. The choice between scrolling mindlessly and building your empire becomes no choice at all. Starving the beast and redirecting the fire are the first two steps. The final step is to consciously rebuild your brain's reward system. You must reteach your brain what a real, earned reward feels like. This happens through delayed gratification and earned achievement. Your purpose must be broken down into small, concrete, achievable goals. Remember, the brain releases dopamine not just when we achieve a goal, but in the anticipation of achieving it and when we make progress. Each small task you complete, each sales call made, each page written, each workout finished, delivers a small healthy hit of earned dopamine. This creates a new, positive feedback loop. Your brain begins to associate effort, focus, and discipline with reward. You start to enjoy the process of doing hard things. Track your progress. Keep a journal. Celebrate small wins. When you resist an urge and complete a productive task instead, consciously acknowledge it. Feel the quiet pride. This is you, manually reinforcing the new neural pathways of discipline and focus. Finally, you must pursue real-world connection. There's a powerful phrase in addiction recovery. The opposite of addiction isn't sobriety. It's connection. Compulsive behaviors thrive in isolation. The antidote is to aggressively pursue genuine, real-world connection. This doesn't just mean romance. It means building a brotherhood. It means having deep, meaningful conversations. It means being vulnerable with other men you trust. It means being of service to others. Social connection is one of the most powerful and healthy sources of reward for the human brain. When you have strong, supportive relationships, the allure of a shallow, digital counterfeit pales in comparison. This three-step process, starve, redirect, rebuild, is your blueprint for escape. It isn't easy and it isn't quick. It is the hard work of rewiring your own mind. But it is the only path to true freedom. So that thief we talked about in the beginning, the one that lives in your mind and steals your ambition, now you know the truth. You are not a victim, and you are not inherently weak. Your brain was simply trying to operate in an unnatural environment, an environment that can exploit its most basic functions. This journey isn't about shame. It's not about fighting some dark part of yourself. It is about empowerment. It's about understanding the system so you can rise above it. It's about recognizing that the immense energy that has been used against you is in fact your greatest strength. It is the power to create, to build, to achieve, and to connect. By starving the beast, you reclaim your neurological real estate. By redirecting the fire, you channel your power into a purpose that sets your soul ablaze. And by rebuilding your reward system, you learn to find joy not in fleeting pleasure, but in the profound satisfaction of the climb, the satisfaction of becoming the man you were always meant to be. The trap is there to keep you weak, distracted, and isolated, but you hold the key. The choice to remain in the comfortable cage of mediocrity, or to step out into the difficult, glorious freedom of your full potential, is yours and yours alone. Reclaim your focus. Reclaim your energy. Reclaim your life's mission. Let me know in the comments, what is the one goal you would focus on if you had limitless energy? I read every single response.